What's up, guys? This is Captain Latios, and because of a friend's teasing to make my openings and my narrating a little different here, I am going to go and try some new openings, so you might hear some new openings in the future. I really didn't expect anyone to listen to my videos, but if you guys are, thanks for the support, and please subscribe. So today we're going to be doing something a little different here. It's still going to be on Pokemon Showdown, but today on this video we are going to team build. And so what I mean by that is we are going to go to the team builder and build a team out of scratch. And in the next video I will use that team to battle for you with with that team on the tier that it's in. So today we will be building an OU team because OU is the most popular monotype. Not no, it's not monotype. It's the most popular tier in Pokemon Showdown. So today I think I'm going to do an OU one because I've already planned it all out and everything. So alright, so let's go over here to the team builder. And as you can see, I already have these two teams that I've showed you on live battles. So I've created already a team without any Pokemon that's called Team Building 1. So this is going to be our first team building video here. And so I have planned this out already, so you guys can just follow along. If you want to create this team with me, that's fine with me. Or if you just want to see how this turns out in the next video, you're free to do that too. So, as an OU, you have to take into account not only the strength of your Pokemon, but also its stats. If you're going to have a defensive wall, choice scarf offensive attacker, a special defense, a special attack, a really fast speed, and you also have to keep into account the diversity. Now, that's not going to be the easiest thing, and building a team on Pokemon Showdown is actually a very hard thing. Today, I am going to go pretty quickly because I do want to get to the battle part, and I already have this planned out. But I will show you guys what I was trying to accomplish with this team, uh, regardless of if it turns out good or not. So, uh, as you can see, well, maybe you haven't built an OU team before or any other team, just play random battles. I'm not sure, but regardless of that, you usually have to have some kind of setup Pokemon on your team. And a good OU setup that I think is a really good OU setup is the Klefki. And now some of you out there may be thinking, huh? Klefki? Really? Is that a really good setup? Uh, maybe it's not the best setup for an OU, but in a way, I think it is a very good setup because of its typing, the Steel Fairy type, and and like its ability to hold the Light Clay, learn Thunder Wave, and Light Screen stuff like that, and get something like that. Usually it has one attack move, but this time I will not be putting an attack move on the Klefki because it actually is a good setup. Now, if you search for the Klefki like I am here, it will actually say BL, and so you figure out that it's not as high as, sorry, it's not as high of a tier as OU, but BL is already pretty good. Uh, It is because I've never really seen people use Klefki on an OU team, but regardless of that, we are going to use the Klefki today. Now feel free to change out any Pokemon and just put in the Pokemon that you like, or the Pokemon that you think needs to be switched out on your team or whatever, or just watch this for entertainment. I don't really care what you do, but I am going to show you again, like I said before, what I was thinking while I was building the team. Now, obviously the Klefki has, if I go over here and I click on this, the Klefki has very bad, well, not very bad, but all of these stats here, the base stats are pretty bad. And so, Obviously, if you want to get a setup move like setup Pokemon like Klefki, it's the best idea to make it hold the light clay, since since the Prankster has the Pokemon's non-damaging moves have their priority increased by 1. Um, and the light clay, which means holders' use of light screen or reflect lasts 8 turns instead of 5. So because I am going to hold the light clay, I will be putting the reflect here and the light screen here. There. So the reflect is physical damage to allies is halved, and light screen is special damage to allies is halved. Now that's a very large margin in an actual battle, and for example, uh, a move that might take 2 turns to combat one of my Pokemon and KO it might take 3 turns or 4 turns instead of the usual 2. So that the light screen actually gives you the reflect and the light screen actually give you a better chance of keeping your Pokemon in and lowering the damage that is done to them. And since the light clay increases 3 turns, 8 turns is actually a lot of turns in an actual Pokemon Showdown battle. Now, what I am going to do now, if you can see here, moves, I'm not going to put any attack moves on it, is because if you can see over here, the HP, attack, defense, special defense, all of that is very low compared to an actual Pokemon. So I am going to put another 2 status moves on this guy here. Um, what's going to happen though is I am going to put the Thunder Wave on it because it paralyzes the target and makes them unable to move. It makes you basically faster than them because the paralyzation pretty much lowers the opponent's priority. And so the last move, I might consider doing like a Dazzling Gleam or a Draining Kiss or something like that. Or maybe any of these, Psychic, Psyshock. But really what I want to do is I want to put all setup moves on this guy. So what I wanted to do is Swagger. The Swagger is because, as always, you do want to get the confusion, but you don't want to raise your opponent's stats. This one does both, which is kind of a mixed blessing. If you use a Swagger on your opponent, you're pretty desperate because you want to do damage to them, but in a way, it's a very risky endeavor for yourself because it can do a lot of damage to yourself. But the only good thing is you have your reflect and your light screen. So no matter what your opponent uses, the damage coming in will be halved. And so when your opponent gets the 2 times attack, it'll actually be only 1 times attack with the reflect and the light screen. So basically, you're only the attack, if it hits you in the confusion that your opponent has, will actually only be the regular amount if I use reflect or light screen. So that is actually a very good setup here, I think. If you guys disagree, I mean, you can always give me suggestions down in the comments below. Here now though, I'm pretty much done here. I have all this level 100, whatever. Gender, happiness, shiny, yeah. Okay, I don't really. Gender is obviously, the happiness is obviously maxed. You could put something like 0 here, but I really don't think that's a good idea. So I am going to put, oops. So for something like the Diggersby, I've actually seen this on an opponent's team before. If you use a Diggersby with the frustration, one of my past videos featured a Diggersby like this. If you put its happiness to 0 or 1 or some really, really low, and then you get you put frustration on it, it's actually going to do a very large load of damage on your own Pokemon. So always watch out for a Diggersby frustration or maybe like an Arceus frustration with 1 or 0 happiness or something like that. Or else very low happiness. Gender, I'm gonna be random. I don't really care. Um, so on this one, I have the HP, attack, defense, special defense, and speed. And so what I want to do here, since Prankster here, non-damaging moves have their priority increased by 1, it's going to be faster than any of the usual moves that my opponent's going to have. So basically what I want to do is increase my stats to the point where I want to hold out as much as I can, which means that I want to keep my Klefki from being KO'd from as long as I can. And so now here you can see that it says physically defensive, 252 defense, 248 HP, and 8 special defense. Now, since I don't have the attack, it is probably a good idea to go for the minus here, while the plus in the defensive or the special defensive. What I am going to do here is I am going to put the plus on the special defense, but then I am going to max the defense here, max the HP here, and then Showdown does that sometimes. Okay, so I am going to do the 4. Um, so here you can see my special defense and my HP are on approximately 1 level, while my defense is very high. And so, I think this is a pretty good set. This suggested spread says 252 defense, 248 HP, and 8 special defense. That's 4 less HP and 4 more special defense, which doesn't make that much of a difference. But it says minus attack, which I did, but it says plus defense. Now, I think my defense is high enough, and if an opponent uses something like a fire blast or flamethrower on me, I am automatically out if I don't do anything about my special defense. So I decided to opt for the plus on the special defense here and the minus on the on the attack here. And so, as you can see here, that took a pretty long time for explaining, but I did finish one Pokemon here. So that's one Pokemon finished. This is my setup that's finished, actually. And so, right now I'm going to add another Pokemon. As you can see here, here are all the OUs from Altaria and everything down to Zapdos. There are lots of good legendaries on here like Zapdos, Thundurus, Raikou, Mew, Latios, Landorus, and Landorus Therian, Kyurem Black, Keldeo, Jirachi, Heatran, all of these. And then there are the Deontay, Celebi, stuff like that. But there are also the good Pokemon like Azumarill, Charizard, Dragonite, Ferrothorn, stuff like that. So I'm not going to go into too much depth there, but those are all about the Pokemon that are OU. Now, OU is constantly changing, so I wouldn't suggest sticking to any one of these Pokemon too much. Always have like another team, another kind of backup in the background, so that whenever it changes tier to a higher tier, Ubers or something like that, then you should probably switch it out. Or if you just feel like that Pokemon isn't doing well enough, you can probably switch it out. Okay, so here I'm going to go to my other Pokemon here that I've planned out. And by the way, I might consider putting a webcam up and showing myself here if it's not too much trouble for you guys. Not sure if you guys would like it or not, but whatever. I don't really care. I hope you guys do that, because in sometime in the next few videos I will be putting a webcam up. But don't expect it too soon, because like my changing software kind of thing, it took like 2 or 3 of videos past my first notice to get my software changed, but it's alright. Just be Just be prepared if I have a webcam up there. Don't be too surprised about it. So the next Pokemon I am going to put on my team here is going to be Tyranitar. And as you can see here, Tyranitar and Tyranitar Mega are both OU. And so you might be wondering, which one should I use, right? Now, um, let's take a look at the stats. So you can see here that they have the both same HP and the same special attack. Now the Tyranitar has 30 more attack, 40 more defense, and 20 more special defense. Uh, and also the 10 more speed, which means that it has a 100 more base stat than the usual one. As I'm going to explain later, I am not going to put on the Tyranitar Mega, and that's going to be for a reason. Is that's going to be because, well, I'll reveal it to you as the last Pokemon. Yeah, one of my Pokemon will have a Mega Stone on it, but it's not going to be Tyranitar. And you'll see why in a second here. Um, I just hope so. Give me a second here. Um, Sorry about this. I am just trying to change something here. Uh, Sorry about this. Technical difficulties. Give me a second here. Okay. Um, yeah, so I still think that that the that the Tyranitar it should be the the best the best that the Tyranitar shouldn't have the Mega Stone, and I'll tell you later for a reason. Um, it's because of of the other Mega Evolution I am going to put on the team here. Alrighty. So let us get going here. I'm very sorry for the wait here. Alright, so here I am. Gender, oh, put it as female. Shiny, no. Item, ability, okay, I'll go back to the item later. Sandstream means summons Sandstorm. Unnerve, it prevents the opposing Pokemon from using their berries. I'm probably going to go for the Sandstream because it buffets the other Pokemon. Usually Pokemon don't have berries other than like Tropius and some of the LCs. Some other Pokemon in LC like Magnemite. So here I do have my Tyranitar. My item, as I said to you, I was going to come back to it later. I'll come back to it now. I'm going to put the Focus Sash on it because the reason for the Focus Sash is because the Tyranitar is dual type Rock Dark. And because fighting types are pretty proliferous out there in some of the teams, and even fighting type moves, a lot of people can, a lot of the Pokemon can learn Focus Blast or fighting type, any fighting type move. It's good to have the Focus Sash because if they get a fighting type move on you, since my speed is very low on the Tyranitar, they will be taking you out in one hit. But with the Focus Sash, they will not take you out in one hit. And so you will be able to have a chance to take the other Pokemon out or get some extra damage before switching out or keeping it in as death fodder, whichever you like. But I am going to put the Focus Sash instead of the leftovers on it, which I would have done in any other case. Okay, so here I have the moves. What I'm going to do is, as my personal preference, it doesn't have to be yours, of course. As my personal preference, I like to have a setup move on my Pokemon, or one status move on my Pokemon. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I like to have one status or setup move on my Pokemon. The reason is because if you if you have all offensive type moves, you're not going to do as well as if you were like you would be ready for more types, like be ready for more diverse selection of Pokemon, sure, but your status moves really do help you when the time comes. So I would suggest putting on some status moves on some of your Pokemon if right now you're going for all offensive. Uh, if you don't like to do that, then I can't really dissuade you, but I strongly encourage you to put a setup or a status move on some of your offensive Pokemon. Alright, sorry about that. So here we have the um, Tyranitar back again. What I am going to do, as you can see here, I'm going to put the Stealth Rock on the Tyranitar because this setup move gets 12% damage, about 12% damage on Showdown, which is a pretty good amount considering that it removes multi-scale if any of the other team's Pokemon has multi-scale, and it renders the Focus Sash useless. So that's what I'm really looking for here. Um, Otherwise, if you send out a fire or maybe a dual type for one type that it's super effective against, it'll do 25%. If you send out a dual type, super effective against the Stealth Rock, it'll do 50%. So that's actually very good. For example, if I was countering a Charizard, the Tyranitar Stealth Rock would actually remove 50% of the health, half of the health of the Charizard, even before we got started battling between the two. And so I think Stealth Rock is a uh, pretty good setup move, along with Toxic Spikes is a very good move too. But obviously, obviously you can see that it's illegal, and I like Stealth Rock a little bit better because the Toxic. Actually, I like both of them equally about. Uh, okay, so what I am going to do, obviously the Tyranitar, which is a rock type, should have a rock type move. Now, as you can see here, I'm going to find some for you. Rock type, rock type. Okay, so here you can see Rock Polish, Rock Slide, Stone Edge. So here, the main contenders here are Rock Slide, 75, 90, and Stone Edge, 180. Maybe a Hidden Power Rock down here. Yeah, Hidden Power Rock, which is 60, 100, but Rock Tomb, 60, 95. Smackdown, 50, 100. The most powerful move here that I'm seeing is going to be the Stone Edge. And though I would consider using the Rock Slide because it's only 75, it's only minus 25 power, and it's even plus 10 accuracy, I am going to put the Stone Edge on the Tyranitar because as you can see here, it has its highest is attack. So I would suggest a more offensive view, even though the Stone Edge misses more of the time. I've had battles before where the Stone Edge has missed like 2 or 3 times in a row. It can miss a lot, but I'm going to trade off the risky accuracy for the improved power because of the stab and the base power. Alright, and so what I am going to do is, obviously the Tyranitar is also a dark type, so he should probably have a dark type move. I'm kind of like iffy about the perfect dark type move on him. For example, Crunch is 80-100, very good, plus 20% to lower the target's defense by 1. Dark Pulse, 20% flinch target, 80-100 special. It's a special one. Here we have he can learn Foul Play. It's not illegal. Uh, let's get that out. I'm actually not going to use Foul Play, but he can learn Foul Play. 95-100 uses target's attack stat, stuff like that. But the best move that I would suggest using is this one right here, Payback. Now, Payback might not seem like the best move you can do for Tyranitar here. I wouldn't say it's the best move in terms of real offensive going, but since my Tyranitar already has a Stone Edge for its offensive going, I am going to use a Payback. It's because if power doubles if the user moves after the target. Because my Tyranitar's speed is so low, if my opponent's is super effective from Dark and is faster than me, if I don't get KO'd from that move, which is kind of the use of the Focus Sash, if I get this payback on him after he moves on me, then it will be 100 base power. And 100 base power plus stab, which is half the base power, is 100 plus 50, 150 power. Now 150 power is a big number, and with the large attack stat that Tyranitar has, it is going to be a very strong move if I get the um, move after my opponent goes. And which I probably am going to do because as you can see here, the speed is 61 on him. So let's go back to the last move. Now the last move was kind of hard to decide because because I already have a stone and a dark rock type and a dark type move. Now I was thinking, which type should I go for? Like, because Tyranitar can learn most of the dragon type moves, like Dragon Claw and Dragon Pulse, but it can also learn moves like ground type moves, like um, Earthquake, stuff like that. So I was really deciding my main two competitors were the dragon type moves or the ground type moves. And I was thinking, and I was like, So as you later see, I already have my diversity already includes a dragon type Pokemon, and so really I think that this offensive Pokemon with a very low speed should come in with a strong ground type, not a dragon type. And so what I was planning on doing was putting the Earthquake on the Tyranitar because Earthquake is the perfect move to go on Tyranitar. And as you can see here, Earthquake is not illegal. As you can see here, Earth Power is also uh, legal on the Tyranitar, but it is special attack and it only has 90 power. So I prefer to have the Earthquake because it has the same accuracy, um, greater power, still ground type, and it is based on the attack stat. Sorry about that. All right. So here, as you can see here, I as you can see on any of these moves, I don't have a special move, like a non-contact move. So what I am going to do first is I'm going to remove the special attack, so minus special attack and plus attack, because I really want that high attack stat. And because I really want a good high attack stat, I am going to go for full EVs on the full EVs on my little Tyranitar here. I That's the max though, so I have to increase some of my other ones. My defense is already 110, so what I am going to do is I am going to follow up with um. All right, let's see here. My stats I was a little iffy on the Tyranitar because its HP and defense are kind of almost equal here, as well as his special defense. But I was kind of considering like which one should I do. What I think I'm going to do is because Focus Blast is a very because Focus Blast is a very a good move on my Tyranitar, and I want it to be bulky because the Tyranitar is usually bulky. I am going to go for a 232 on my Tyranitar. Let's get it to an even 400 here. All right. So at a 236. So right now I have a remaining, let's see here, 20. I have a remaining 20 IVs. So since my special attack, I don't want any special attack here. My speed is already so low that I can't get much with it, even if I increase it to the max here. It'll only be as high as my special attack is now. So what I am going to do is I'm going to go for the max the special defense up. I want to get my special defense as close to my defense as possible. So here you can see the 252, 236, and 220. So I think this is a pretty good set on my Tyranitar, and this Tyranitar is ready for battle. I am going to go a little faster here because, as you can see here, it's already a very long video here. I don't want to take too much of your time. I've only done 2 Pokemon here, and it's already been 30 minutes. So I am going to go a little faster here. This video might take a little a longer time though. So let us go and get to the next Pokemon. So you must be wondering, like, you already have an offensive, you have a setup, you must have a defensive wall, right? Or you must have this, you must have that. What I am going to do is reveal to you that I am going to I'm going to show you the Pokemon that I said that will complement the that will replace for the dragon types on the Tyranitar. What I am going to do is, can you guess any of these? Altaria is certainly a good dragon flying type. Charizard, the Mega Evolution, can definitely go for a fire dragon, which will get the dragon type. Here we have a Dragonite, a Garchomp, a Kyurem, Latios, stuff like that. What I am going to use though might surprise you. Give me a second here. Alright, what I am going to do here is I am going to use, this is going to be probably very surprising, I'm going to use a Salamence. Now, at first glance, you might be like, what? Salamence? Why are you using Salamence? You should use like Garchomp or something. That's a really good Pokemon and even has a Mega Evolution and stuff like that. Frankly, number one, I don't want to go with the fashion, with this style that everyone else is going with. Second of all, I think Salamence is a really cool Pokemon. Third, the Salamence actually has a very good base stat. Now, as you can see here, the Uber Salamence Mega is Uber, and I can't use that because it's a higher tier than OU. But the Salamence is UU, which is really odd for me, but what I am going to use is I'm going to use a Salamence. Whatever, female. No. Okay, so let's start on the things. So what I was planning on doing was the Intimidate is a very good ability, but what I do want to do is I want to use Moxie because if my Salamence KOs my opponent's Pokemon, it will gain attack, and so that is a very good ability. My item, on the other hand, will I I want an increased stat on him, so I am going to go for the Choice Band. So if you can see here, there are 3 choice specs, choice scarf, and choice band. Now the choice scarf increases speed, the choice specs increases special attack. And as you can see here over here, the attack is higher than the special attack, so I'm probably going to go for more attack than special attack. Now, as you can see here, I am going to use a choice band. Holder's attack is 1.5 times, but it can only select the first move it executes. Now that's a very risky thing to do if, for example, Salamence is the last Pokemon on the team, but usually I won't use it as the last Pokemon on my team, and it needs that 1.5 times attack. So I am going to go for the choice band on my Salamence. Let's go for the moves here now. Uh, Let me think about this. Okie dokie. So what I'm thinking here, I decided to go for a little plan change here. Um, because my plan was a little iffy on whether I should use Salamence as as it has the Dragon Dance and the Choice Band. Because if I use the Dragon Dance on my Salamence with the Choice Band, that's the only move it'll be able to execute, and I do not want that to happen. So what I really want to happen is either I decide between my choice band or I decide between or I decide for the Dragon Dance. Now um, I'll leave that to later. For now, I'll go for the other moves. All right, and because they won't have anything to do with this. So do want I do want a very good dragon move on him. So let's see what kind of dragon moves. Dragon Breath, Rage, Claw, Dance, Pulse, Rush, Tail. And so Dance is out of the picture because it's not an attack move. Um, Rage only does 40 HP, and that's very bad for an OU battle. It might be good for example, an LC battle or something like that, but definitely not a OU battle. I do have a Dragon Tail 60-90, Dragon Rush 175, Dragon Breath 60-100, and Dragon Pulse 85-100, plus the Dragon Claw 80-100. Now, for example, they all have their good things like 30% chance to paralyze a target, a 20% chance to flinch the target, but what I really want to do is I want to exclude all of these special ones. So none of these non-contact ones, I don't want any of these non-contact ones. So that's all of these out of the picture. So now I have Dragon, Tail, Rush, and Claw. And so the tail isn't really proper on the Salamence, so I'm not going to go for that one. So now it's either Rush or Claw. And as you can see, Rush holds more opportunity because after stab and everything, it'll be 30 power more than the Claw. But as you can see, the accuracy does me in because with the 25% less accuracy, it's going to be very, very bad. I have missed a bunch of times with the Dragon Rush before on my other Charizard over on my other OU team if you've watched it before. Um, and so I am going to go for the Claw because of the increased accuracy and the pretty good attack. And so let's move on to the second attack move. Since I already have a Dragon Claw, my Salamence is Dragon Flying. I have a Dragon type move on it, but um, you might be wondering, like, he's probably going to put like a flying type move on it or something. What's actually going to happen is I'm not going to put on any flying type moves on it. As you'll see uh, later, I'm not going to put any flying type moves on it because of one of my next Pokemon. And so I am going to go for some more opportune moves on my Salamence. So for this one, you might be wondering like what moves should he put? Um, so one of the things you have to take into account is what kind of Pokemon will be opposing you and whether they'll be like whether they'll take you out in one hit or something. Now the best competitor against me will be an ice type like Beartic or something. And so an ice type on my Salamence will do 4 times damage. And since my Salamence doesn't have multi-scale or something like the Dragonite does, I will have to put a counter move on my Salamence. So obviously I have to put a fire or a steel type here. So what we're gonna, or a fighting type. What we're gonna do here is we're gonna search for some fighting type or any moves that are super effective against the ice type. So here we have a brick break here, 75 100, and destroys like light screen, reflect, stuff like that, unless the target is immune. So that is a pretty good contender there for brick break is a pretty good contender. Now we also have these 110 85 for fire blast, fire fang 65 95, and flamethrower 90 100. We also have, I'm going to go back to those later. We also have Heat Wave 95-90, 10% chance to burn, Hidden Power Fire, and Rock and everything. I am not seeing, okay, so we have, no, that's not one. Ember, obviously not Ember. We're not going to go for an Ember. Hidden Power, Incinerate 60 100. I'm not going to go for that because of the low power and because it's non-contact. Rock Tomb, Rollout, no, those aren't the best moves we can get here. So what I am going to do is I'm going to choose one of these fire types or the brick break. Now, the reason for these is because of their high power. And as you can see, I am going to remove any of these non-contacts because I don't want any special moves on my Salamence because its attack is higher than its special attack by a margin. So now Fire Blast and Flamethrower are out of the picture. So now it's going to and Heat Wave. So now it's Fire Fang here, 65, 95, 10% chance to burn or 10% chance to flinch, or up here Brick Break. So you might be wondering like which one should be better. Well, another thing you should take into account while you're team building is like whether a move that, since you only have 4 moves on your Pokemon, what you should best decide is like what kind of, if you choose a move that's super effective against one type, that's super effective against you, you'll probably want to have that move super effective against 2 types, at least more than one type that's super effective against you. So for example, uh, if if I'm doing a if I have a fire type Pokemon, like Charmander, this is just for example, so this probably won't happen. But if I want to have like Charmander on my team, but I want it to counter um, the ground type, but also the water type, which are both super effective against the fire type, what you probably want to do is teach it a grass type move, because the grass type is super effective against both the ground type and the water type. If you teach it like something like Hidden Power Grass, it's going to do well. If you teach it Hidden Power and it's going to go for grass, or you teach it like Grass Knot or something, it's going to do super effective on both sides. So as I'm going to use that example here, so will Brick Break or Fire Fang, will it do super effective more on both sides? Well, if we see here, which Pokemon, which types will be most super effective against Salamence? Now, the types that are super effective against flying are Rock, Rock, Electric. Um, it's going to be kind of hard for me to say all of them, so let us go to my favorite site, Bulbapedia. So here we're going to go over to the search bar here. Oops, sorry. Give me just 1 second. Technical difficulties here. Alright, this shouldn't be your concern, but it is going to be your concern because it is giving me some trouble here. Sorry about this. So I'm going to continue with this flying type. Whoops. Alright, let us not do that. I accidentally pressed another button. Okay, so flying type, yes. So you can see all the stats here, whatever. You can come here by yourself. So Generation 2 onwards. So as you can see, when it's defensive, the three types that are super effective on it are the electric, ice, and rock types. But the electric type will automatically be negated, will be normally effective as a result of the dragon type. So an electric type on my Salamence will be normally effective against the Salamence. Now the other types against the dragon types are going to be are going to be things like ice, fairy, stuff like that. You can see here, dragon. All right. So as you can see here, 2 times from Generation 6 onward will be dragon, fairy, and ice. Now ice, as we said before, is going to be 4 times super effective, so we already knew about that. The dragon type, we'll have to find some. We already have a dragon type move, so that's fine. It doesn't matter about that. The final Pokemon that the final type is going to be Fairy. But now, Fairy is a very weird type. It was made in Generation 6. But the weird thing about it is that it's going to be, um, like, okay. uh, I was just going on a sidetrack. Sorry about that. So the fire, the fire, fair, the fire type and the fighting types will be differently effective on the fairy type. So the fire type and the fighting type are both super effective against the ice type, but the fighting type is not very effective on the fairy type. And the fire type is going to be normally effective on the fairy type, while the fighting type is going to be not very effective on the fairy type. And so I expect to be up against a bunch of fire types on my, sorry about the noise in the background. I am probably going to be facing a lot of fairy types in my battles. So um, I actually expect to be to be facing a lot of fairy type. So in this case, in my long discussion about the types and everything, the best type that will be good for my Salamence is going to have to be the Fire Fang. Even though its power is less than the Brick Break, that's not what I'm aiming for here. What I actually am aiming for is the best move on my Salamence. And so, bye-bye Brick Break. Actually, if you put Brick Break on your Salamence, it will be a pretty good move because of its pretty high power and its super effectiveness against ice types. But I am going to have to go for the Fire Fang, which was what I was planning the whole time. Sorry about leading on you on that whole expedition for that kind of for like about this type, that type, and everything about that. Sorry about that. So we're going to go on to this. We're actually going to put Fire Fang here. We are. Let's X that out. So what's another good move that's going to go against the Salamence? That's going to go on the Salamence. Now, as you can see here, if we want to get some steel types, we have Iron Tail and stuff like that. But we already have a pretty good moves against Fire Fang. And plus, as I'll explain later, I do have some good moves against Fairy types. I can just switch out to another Pokemon, like Tyranitar. So in the end, I'm not going to be countering the Fairy types. What I am going to be countering is the Rock type that I was explaining earlier. The Rock type is going to be super effective on my Salamence here. So I have to search for a good ground move that will be super effective against Rock types. And so here, as you can see, Earthquake is a power 100, accuracy 100, contact move, and so that's what I'm going to pick. As you can see here, if you can see the Iron Tail here, Steel type, and everything. He will be a uh, very good competitor against the other Pokemon that come against me. Plus, it'll be super effective against Fairy and stuff like that. But what I really want to do is for the Earthquake, because the Iron Tail accuracy is going to be very bad, 75%, and it won't hit some of the time. So that's the move I'm going to hit. Now, uh, as I promised you before, I am going to decide between the Choice Band and the Dragon, uh, the Dragon, the, sorry, the Dragon Dance. So my speed here, as you can see, is base 100, which is mediocre, but as you can see, higher than actually my HP. And so what I am going to do is, if I were to use the Dragon Dance, um, the only problem would be that I have to use move after move of Dragon Dance to get something, and by that time my opponent might be able to dispatch me. So what I am going to do is I'm not going to go for the Dragon Dance. I'll leave Salamence like he is right now, and I am going to go for the Choice Band. Now, what should my last move be? As I was discussing before, I am going to go for the Iron Tail. And the reason is because the Iron Tail is good against fairy types. Um, it's good against fairy types, good against also rock types, even though I have my Earthquake for that. For example, if I face a rock flying, which I'm not sure if there's a Pokemon like that or not, I will be able to counter that with the Iron Tail instead of the Earthquake. And so let's go on to the last bit here. It says suggested spread fast band. And so 252 EVs for speed. I am definitely going to go for that. I want to maximize the speed on my Salamence to get like a kind of sweeper band kind of thing. I am also going to maximize my attack. That is definitely good. And the last thing that I want to increase is probably going to be my special defense, since most ice types and fairy types are going to be special non-contact moves. And so I am going to go for, since I don't have any special attack moves, I'm going to go for minus here, but plus on the attack. Let me see. Actually, I'm gonna go for the plus on the speed, like the like the suggested spread here says. Because I want to maximize my speed as much as possible, and increase my speed to the point where I am really competing with the fastest Pokemon on anyone else's team. And so that's where we're going to be finished with this video. Even though I did only 3 of my planned team building 1 video, I will continue in the next video for team building. I will show you the rest of the team I have planned out. For now, though, you can go back, review the 3 of these. The 3 of these I've already planned out: the setup, the fast band, and the bulky sweeper. And so that's going to be it for this time. I hope you guys really enjoyed and got something out of this video. I am going to be posting another video tomorrow of this, or the day after tomorrow. And I really hope you guys enjoyed. I will be seeing you tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. I'm not sure about which. So thanks. Please subscribe, and hope you enjoyed. And that's it for today. Bye.